Um, okay. So here's the replay between uh, TheRedKing and Bikerushownz. I always had trouble with beating RedKing. I mean, RedKing obviously very good versus good, but I feel also some of it is psychological. Because when I was playing on Smurf, I was beating him fairly well. It was, the games were good. I had a chance, which I don't have when I play on my main account, and I feel that it's partially because he just knows my style so well. We used to play a lot of games, and he knows my every move when he knows that I'm playing him. So I wanted to watch RedKing maps to know how to beat human in case I meet him on ladder, but apparently RedKing was denied his visa to the United States because he's from Jordan. Well, that's what he says. I don't know what the Department of State is, what their stance on the situation is, but yeah, he's denied the visa and he's not gonna be going to Texas, which is a shame, because I think he was like a favorite. I think there are like 4 or 5 favorites: Dallas, Bike, Matisse, Mista, and RedKing. And I think there are other people who could win with practice, like frankly myself, Magic, and Dot Dash, maybe Popeye. Yeah, Dot Dash has very good mechanics, good StarCraft player, so so if he was practicing, he definitely would be one of the contenders for the victory. And I'd like to name Mendel, but he doesn't believe in himself. I think it's hard to win tournaments when you don't believe in yourself. I think it's hard to win tournaments when you believe in yourself, but if you're coming in and you think you're gonna lose, you're probably not gonna win. He can do well in the tournament. He has the skills, but I think victory you have to be 100%. So anyway, back to replay. RedKing does his usual cheating and exploits of candidate lines, and Bike just gathers up resources. And I mean, his pattern was a bit exposed. Like he was stayed here, then went here, then went here, and it's a bit exposed to harassment. But humans they're not capable of harassment. They can't kill Goo early on like Beta can. And their harassment just takes out too much out of their economic development, which I think could be one of the considerations for how to change gameplay. I always spoke against human turtle style game in general. Turtle style games usually produce less skilled gameplay. So I'm all for action and more action. Although there could be too much action isn't good either. It could be Go versus Go. Alright, so RedKing goes for 3 refineries and cancels the turret for reasons I cannot comprehend. I think it might have been an accident. This map, generally speaking, not also good for human. I think it might be second worst after Coastlands. Although Coastlands is I don't know how bad Coastlands really is these days. because I haven't played TheRedKing on that map in a while, and TheRedKing is the only staple for humans. He's just, you know, way above everyone else. Even Dallas. Maybe Bikerushownz is up there. Not sure about that. But yeah, I haven't seen a serious game on Coastlands in a long, long while. And when you play whatever, you know, Spike Monchi or someone who's, you know, down there in the middle of the ladder, whenever you play them, when they see Coastlands, they just give up. So, you know, I haven't seen a serious game on Coastlands in a long, 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 long time. And, you know, so I'm not entirely sure. I think this map is very, 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 very bad for humans. So, you know, weird discussion to focus on such lengths on, like, which map is worse, Coastlands or the Vale. But back to the game. So, you know, this is a period of lull, economic lull, when nothing happened, and, you know, Bikerus is just splitting his mothers. You know, I'm looking out for whether he's gonna do the 4 mother split into small protein to map control, which I think is on this map. I think lately I've started questioning whether you know, being aggressive on 4 mothers is the key, but on a map like this one, I think it definitely is. I think controlling the spigots on left and right of the base are one of the key points of the matchup, and Bikerushownz is doing another split. It's actually well, here is the issue. I tried going for fast mother split, like versus humans versus Dallas. Most of the time I beat Dallas when Dallas plays human, but I tried going for you know, quick 8 mother split, and he just took so many expansions. He had like 5 extractors, even more. And I tried to do something on 8 mothers. I did 8 mothers, and I saw that he was just expanding, and I thought, I'm getting into trouble here. He's getting way ahead of me now. I need to, you know, I don't need to go to 12. I need to stop for bit 8, try to pick off his extractors that he has outside the base. But I couldn't, because he already had artillery. And whatever harassment I was going for, he would just kill it. And yeah, so, you know, whenever I try to go pure macro against a human, I feel that a human is just favored in the pure macro game. Not on all maps, of course, but on quite a few. I guess defending into Purger is an option, but that's also an issue, because you can't really feed the Purger. It's very hard these days, because humans take an active role on map. Humans like to push out and run around and shoot stuff, and if you let them just, you know, if they remove any doubt from their mind that you're going macro, and they start expanding very greedily, they can alpha behind an aggressive movement. So yeah, from my experience, this whole going to 12 mothers against humans isn't working out. You know, if humans go for aggressive expansion pattern. But that might be just me. You know, I'm gonna look what Bikerushownz is doing. Alright, he's going for his regular howitzer spam, which is good. It works well against human players. I mean, Go players. Yeah, at first I was like looking at this and I wasn't sure whether he should be doing this here instead of teleporting it, but then I'm looking at resource rate, and resource rate he's barely above it, and just a second ago he was -5, so yeah, he cannot maintain the production of all of it at the same time. So yeah, yeah, Bike is an 8. And yeah, you see, it's like here's a problem with what I was discussing at the beginning, the psychological aspect of the game. RedKing does not do that against me. He is not afraid of me. He is not afraid of my macro. So he doesn't do this mistake. This is a mistake. This is a pretty big mistake. I'm not saying you shouldn't harass. Harassing is good. But to throw away this much army and then take your 2 Gladiae and move out this way without any protection from tier 1, it's a mistake. So this is like an issue. Like people say, well, RedKing uses, for example, like Bikerush. He says, well, Bikerush is so good, he beats me every time. So go OP. And this is the problem with Go being or not being OP. RedKing chooses his actions based on his fear of his opponent rather than his opponent's ability to produce. Because if he was in this situation with me, and we were in this situation many times, he would not split his army. He would wait for artillery, and he would push out with artillery, and that would change the outcome of this so much. Humans are supposed to be playing defensively. That's how human race is designed, and that's what makes the RedKing the best damn human in the game. He's very good at playing defensively. He's very good at dragging, conduits, like having all the timings down. And when he faces someone like RedKing, when he faces someone like Bikerush, when he faces someone like Dallas or Matisse, when he faces someone he loses a lot to, he makes mistakes. He makes decisions that are not focused on his opponent's race, but are focused on his opponent's name. This is completely unnecessary. Yeah, and he somehow defended this here as well. Let's watch it again. Can you imagine how well that actually would have went? I mean, yeah, okay, he killed this Mother Goo here, that's good. But can you imagine how well this would have went if he had all this army here? He defended whatever Bikerush has as is. And if he pushed with all that army through here, he might have not killed all of them. Maybe he killed one, maybe he wouldn't kill any at all. But he would push 4 mothers of spigots. He would put 4 mothers of the best damn spigots in the game. And not only are they best damn spigots in the game, they're very far from all the other spigots. So Bikerush would miss at least a protein worth of production. So let's keep watching. Regarding the harassment squads, I really like what Mr. does. Mr. has obviously Mr. extremely good StarCraft player. He has very high APM, I assume. His multitasking is pretty amazing. And what he actually does is very, very annoying, but it works out pretty well. He sends one or two of them through every pass. Like they would pass here, they would pass here, and he would send one or two of the tier 1 units through each path, and they would shoot the mother. It doesn't kill the mother, but it constantly prevents it from getting a full charge of protein, the ability to spawn a protein. And it's also if your opponent has lower APM than you do, they're gonna be spread thin, they're gonna lose attention, they're gonna lose your important battle, something like that. Or if they don't lose an important battle and they neglect to take care of your harassment, then the production is lower by 1 or 2 mothers. So less tier 1 would achieve similar result. It would stall the production by a mother. Okay. Pretty good idea for harassment, since RedKing put both of his refineries so close to the front, as well as the factory. So I actually, I'm not gonna take credit for this thought, for this idea, but obviously, don't do it. that's like you can see how it can be exploited. 3 of the most important buildings that RedKing has, with 2 refineries and having a production building, they're depowered. So a good idea on Bikerushownz to harass like that, and a mistake that I think anybody can make. I certainly not above doing something like that, but don't do it. And RedKing's front army dies, and his back army isn't doing anything. So. Yeah, you cannot complain about Goo being OP when you play like this. I guess it sounds like mean or combative, or who am I to say? RedKing is a second place in the qualifier, and I failed to qualify in 2 qualifiers. But that is true. I can definitely maybe not the best at executing strategies or something like that, or reacting to my opponent's versatile playstyles or something like that, but it's very I'm not gonna claim that it's easy to play human versus Goo, but the style that RedKing uses, it's a very particular style. It's a very good style. It's very effective, very, very effective. But when you don't use that style, when you use something else, yes, there is a lack of diversity in strategy, but if you have a strategy that wins most of the time, that is favored, I think RedKing is favored versus most of the Goo. Maybe not Dallas or Matisse, but everybody else he's definitely favored against. So when you're favored against most Goos and you have a strategy that wins most of the time, when you're playing competitively, you gotta use that strategy. And yeah, this was particularly a good game at all. Bikerushownz was never put under any pressure. Essentially RedKing gave him the game. So that's a bit disappointing to see that. Bikerushownz was never under any amount of stress, and I think in fact he made some mistakes as well, like when he transformed army that was clearly not enough to beat whatever RedKing had, and when he when he was fighting here, both times he was like microing, not so good. And yeah, and like he lost. Bikerushownz lost both fights that he had here, and that brings me again to the point of tier 1. If TheRedKing had it here, and Bikerushownz, you know, sent that much unit here like he did, you know, like a couple of proteins and transformed them, he'd be very, very, very much in trouble because he would have lost them essentially for free. So yeah, I feel like this game was played poorly by TheRedKing certainly, but Bikerushownz, I don't know. It's like he won, but he won for free essentially. He didn't have to do anything to win this game because TheRedKing just gave it to him. Had half his army idle for all the game, entire game. So not an exciting replay. Sorry. On to the next one.